310864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Oregon football.
Our connection, our toughness, our growing through moments, our DNA traits showed up at the end.
10, 5, bonus. Give me 6. Pressure. Boom. Dorlus got to him again.
I just know how hard our guys work, and you love when they work hard, they get rewarded.
To the 10, 5, 6. Bucky Irvin. Can he get free on his feet? He does. Franklin scores. Ferguson turns and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. Touchdown, Ducks.
It was exciting for me to see our guys go out there and execute. I'm proud of them. I love them. So really grateful for that moment.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Duck football.
It's Wednesday night. That means it's time to talk to the coach coming off a thrilling, exciting 38-30 win over Texas Tech. At least I think it was exciting and thrilling. I'm not sure if head coach Dan Lanning thinks it was. Coach, thanks for being here. Was it exciting and thrilling for you?
Yeah, a little too exciting. But certainly fun to come away with a win in a tough environment and see our guys, display some traits that allowed us to make it out on the other end of that thing.
Yeah.
Talk about the environment. We all knew going in it was going to be, pretty obviously a huge home field advantage for Texas Tech. But talk about it, how it compared.
Yeah, they, obviously they have a history of having a lot of success there at home. They've been really good there at home for a long time, and it was the environment was that. And there were some ebbs and flows in the game where people could have lost their composure, but I was proud to see our players do that and kind of stay connected there through the nitty-gritty and make it happen.
Let's talk about some of the positives. I mean, there were the goods and the bads. I mean, a lot of penalties. I know you don't like those, and just things that happened in that ball game that can be cleaned up and will be. But there were good things in that ball game. When you sit back and look at it and think about it, talk about some of the positive things that you take out of that from your team.
Yeah, really, dealing with adversity is probably one of the best things. You look, our defense at times made some real critical, change of momentum plays. We have block punt. Next play, turn around, we get an interception, right? They get great field position on a punt return, and we put out the fire, we get a sack fumble, right? And so those were big pieces. And then obviously our offense, Bo being composed the way he is, able to move the ball down, in the fourth quarter there, get us close to get a kick to put us ahead. I think that's just very similar to what we do every Thursday. And letting some of that drill work kind of carry over us, kind of be in the moment. Seeing that show up on game day was fun to see.
Teachable moments, a lot of them in this game. How do you take the negatives, any of the negatives, and make them into a positive as you teach this week?
Yeah, I think it's always easy to coach after a win. And, we won, but we saw some things that we definitely want to go attack and get better at. So, every week it's not scripted. It's not, you don't do the exact same practice model and the exact same practice plan each week. You curtail it to what you have to improve on and what you have to get better at. So we've incorporated a lot of the things that we felt like, hey, these are moments of growth for us that we need to work on regardless of opponent, and we put those in practice.
That was going to be one of my questions. Your focus this week is on yourself, which it always is, but also getting ready for an opponent. How do you divide that time up?
Yeah, you just got to mix it in. We do what we call copycat plays within practice, meaning, hey, this might not be something the opponent runs, but it's something that's maybe hurt us or hurt us offensively or defensively that we want to make sure that we got right. We do corrections every Monday. So it's the first thing we do is we walk through all the corrections from the game. What do we need to fix? What's that need to look like? And then we sprinkle those in throughout practice, even if it isn't something necessarily the opponent does, because what we learned about football is everybody copies what everybody else does. And we want to be prepared for those moments when they come back up.
You coached a lot of games in your young career so far, blowouts, close games, the ones in between. Do you feel like, just philosophically, you learn more about your team in games like this, whether it's Oregon or Georgia or any place else you've been? When you play games like this, do you learn a lot about your team?
Well, I certainly think adversity reveals your character, right? And in moments of success, you don't always see that. So when we experience a little adversity, you figure out who you really are and figure out what kind of team you have. So I think we felt a little bit of that on Saturday, and I don't think any of us saw the game going quite like it went. That being said, we learned what kind of team we have in an event that it does go like that.
Yeah. You never want to play a game like this or have to have a game like this. You want it to be easy, but nothing ever is easy. In a game, when things aren't going well, you're not playing the way you want to, how do you adjust? What is it you do? How do coaches get together and fix what isn't working?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you make a lot of adjustments at halftime, sprinkle some stuff in there. But more than that, it's about being composed in your approach, right? And understanding, okay, how do we solve problems, not create panic? And that's kind of our model. That's what we want to do is, hey, this is an answer. This is what we want to do the next time we get out there. Let's see if we can execute it at a high level. And that's kind of always our goal when we're out there. Teams that make adjustments throughout the game to create success, those are the teams that are the most successful.
Well, I'm going to follow up, and that is communication between you and your coaching staff and your players. Is there a lot of talk between players and staff during the game about what's going on?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, anytime our offense is on the field, you'll see our entire defense on the bench going through the series of plays that just happened, and then vice versa. The other thing you're doing is you're talking about the next series, what could be coming up. Is this a 2-minute scenario? What do they like to do in 2 minutes? What are our plans? What are we planning to attack? And make sure your guys are always mentally focused into the game, one play focus, and what's next.
And then your leaders at that point in time really become important, don't they? The coaches go over and talk with them, but when the coaches go away, the leaders take over.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And leadership to me, I mean, that's got to be player led, right? It's got to show up, and it showed up on Saturday.
Yeah. Leadership, I guess part of that was my question was, how do you work through those distractions as they are going on? I mean, you probably don't like tortillas now as much as you used to because there were a lot of them coming out of the
Still
stands.
A big fan of tortillas. Disappointed that I didn't grab one and take a bite. But no, I'm a tortilla fan. But I think, again, that's what makes that exciting for me.
Yeah.
It's a fun environment. There's a lot of stuff being thrown at our sideline and our players throughout the game, and being able to block out the noise and just focus on what matters in the moment was something that they were able to do at the end.
A lot of sudden changes in the game, and I know you guys practice that oftentimes with turnovers or whatever else it might be, but there wasn't always turnovers. Some of it was stopped, fourth down stops and key parts of the game. You guys really had to be at your best and on alert for being back on the field, didn't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, this is our Toyota Coaches Show. We always start it with our Pepsi Coaches interview, brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. Big game coming up back home. We'll talk about that coming up. Maybe a little bit more about last week, but just fun, enjoying the moment here with head coach Dan Lanning on the Toyota Coaches Show here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, On Point is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways On Point can help support your financial well-being. On Point Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More gridiron action in 1 minute.
Gonna throw. Oh, what a play for the middle. Touchdown, Oregon.
Coming your way on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Toyota Coaches Show. Toyota, let's go places. It's our Pepsi Coaches interview with head coach Dan Lanning off an exciting victory over Texas Tech on the road. Get to come back home. As you get ready for another opponent, how much do you look back? And we've talked about it already, looking back and working on what didn't work. How much time do you spend on going back over a game like that?
Yeah, we spent, the good morning portion of Sunday. We got back really late for this game. I think we got back around 2 a.m. But as soon as we can, we attack it all Sunday morning. And usually by Sunday afternoon, we're moving on to the next team, starting to work on it. But then again, like I said, we kind of work in the corrections, things that we need to see throughout the game. We go over the game itself with our players on Monday.
I tell you, we talk about it every single week. Big plays on offense, which you made. Troy Franklin's big touchdown catch to answer Texas Tech's start. 4 takeaways. You don't turn the ball over. But that 17-play, 75-yard drive at that time in the game, again, there's tough to really focus in on one, but that drive right there was so important for your team at that point in the game. To get points, let alone to get a touchdown and keep your defense off the field.
And some critical third downs in there, some tough situations, throughout that, that drive to see our guys execute at a high level special.
Bo probably didn't get the headlines. Everybody's looking for 5 touchdowns and 400 yards. But he managed that team, again, extremely well in that game, especially when you had moments when he had to.
Yeah, he did a great job, and he was composed as always, and he led, right? It showed up.
I thought it was 2 gutty performances by 2 quarterbacks. Tyler Shuck gave Texas Tech every opportunity. They had to have him, but Bo Nix's performance and some of the scrambles and runs that he made to keep drives alive was huge.
Yeah, really big. And again, you look at things that make the difference in games. Obviously, those takeaways were really big. That ended up being the difference.
Yeah.
2-point conversion.
Yeah. That was huge in the game.
There's analytics in that. But where do you decide? How soon in the week do you decide? What makes you decide to go for a 2-point conversion?
Yeah, again, we talk about it as coaches throughout the week. It's kind of a decision that gets made. We talked about it on Saturday morning as a coaching staff. We sat down. We said, okay, the second time we score, we're going to see if this has the look that we like. And they did. And we were able to execute it. And you think about it, how much did it matter? They're chasing points later on in the game. They go for a 2-point conversion. We get a stop. You're talking about a game that's 30-31. There at the very end, and then obviously becomes 38 after the interception, but that 1 point mattered. So
I've never seen 1 point be so important in a game, and it really was, and early from the get-go.
Yeah, it gave us a chance where they're chasing points kind of the rest of the way, and like I said, it certainly mattered.
Herbert want to be a little more quarterback out there now and he can throw the ball?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll have him throw it again. We'll see. It worked out.
You take it. All right, let's move ahead because you got a fun week coming up. This is a series with Hawaii coming up that goes back 101 years. I had no idea that they played that long ago. 7 games. I think this will be the 8th. And Hawaii has won, I think, the last 2 battles and won them a very famous year, the year the Ducks went to the Rose Bowl. What do you know about Hawaii in this series?
Well, obviously, their head coach, starting with their head coach, he's a player that had a lot of success there and threw for a whole lot of yards. And he does a great job. They create some issues, but they're a team that plays with a sense of pride. They play really hard, and they're challenging. I think they're second in the nation right now with passes over 10 yards per play. So some of those, things stick out to you when you watch them play. You can see that they have the ability to push the ball down the field and create some success.
And they spread you out with receivers, run guys in motion, run and shoot. It's just a little different. Explain that, I guess, as shortly as you can. How the run and shoot's different than what you've seen.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of the routes are going to be based off of leverage and depth. And if guys are on top, they'll sit them down. If guys are playing tight, then they're going to try to take you over the top. And the protections are different. The way they utilize their big back. attack is a little bit different, so they do a lot of things differently. But we've seen a couple flavors of Hawaii. This last game, they ran the ball a little bit more of a balanced attack than they were in Game 1 and Game 2. So we'll kind of have to see what team we get on Saturday.
So many offenses have come off of that run and shoot. The air raid offense, is that a little bit like that?
Yeah, there's definitely some similarities. But also some differences.
Yeah. Run and shoot. I think everybody thinks of the 70s. Mouse Davis is the one that really started that and invented it, came up with it. It goes back to 1958. Ever heard the name Glenn Tiger Ellison? He was a coach, a high school coach, came up with this crazy idea to do the run and shoot. It worked. He ended up as an assistant at Ohio State with Woody Hayes. But that run and shoot's an old offense. And you're sort of running a variation of it now, aren't you, a little bit?
I mean, I think every offense in college football right now has pieces of that, right? And there's a lot of things that were really kind of pulled from that from the beginning. But this team certainly is a flavor of that.
Yeah, I think there's just, again, if you've been around Oregon enough, like he and I have, it's just you have an identity to it because of Portland State and Mouse Davis running up there, Chris Miller with the Atlanta Falcons and that type of deal. So it's going to be kind of fun to see, but it's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, they definitely do some challenging things, and it'll be fun to see how our guys execute on Saturday.
The run game, they're a passing team, but you have to honor the run. As you mentioned, they started running the ball a little bit last week. Talk about their quarterback who has the ability. Braden Shager throws the ball really well. Hasn't run a lot, but you have to honor that, don't you?
Yeah, he has the ability to move. Probably doesn't get enough credit as a runner, but he wants to throw from the pocket, and he has a really strong arm. He can throw the ball far down the field.
Ton of connections to Hawaii from here, isn't there?
Yeah, a bunch of our players, obviously, on our team here, and former players are from Hawaii or the islands, and certainly a place that has a special place for us.
Special, a lot of guys on this team, and what just occurred, of course, in Maui. The emotions run high for the young guys on this team from the islands or Polynesians because of those family ties.
Yeah, and something we wanted to be able to try to find a way to give back to. So we've been, bringing in clothing and shoes and different gear that we're going to donate that'll make its way back to Maui, and that's something we're excited to be a part of.
Fun.
Big time, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it really is. I think there's going to be a lot of people at that game going to be honoring, obviously, Hawaii coming over and all the different things that happen over there, but that togetherness really does come together when you put together things like that, and obviously the connections with Marcus Mariota and a lot of other things that go beyond that, they all care about it too, which is really neat to see. Yeah.
Got to honor Hawaii. The last 3 times they played, Hawaii's won those games. I mean, that just look at that and realize this is a college football program that puts their pads on like everybody else does. I'm not sure that in 1988, 92, and 94, Oregon quite understood that, but I got a sense that you're feeling your team does.
Yeah, I think we'll understand it well.
What's it like for the guys who are from the islands playing against sort of their brothers? I mean, are the emotions different?
I don't think the emotions are necessarily different, but I'll say this for sure. That's a game that several of them circled while we were recruiting them or while they're here. They recognize that game. It means a lot to them to get to play against Hawaii.
Okay, I'm just looking to see who we have on tonight. Is it Brandon Dorlus? You know that name?
I've heard of it. You know, he had a couple big plays in the game the other night.
Yeah, he might have. But what can you tell us about him other than that game? We're gonna get him with some good questions.
Obviously, has a tremendous skill set, and it's just fun to see him blossom as a player. I think he's had one of his best. You know, he's had a really good fall here, and I think he's growing into an even better player than he was last year.
All right, Coach, we'll let you get out of here and prepare for Hawaii. Saturday, 3 o'clock, we'll be on the air at 3 o'clock with a pregame, 5-something after that, but you'll be ready.
We'll be ready. We'll be here early, ready to go.
All right, it's our Toyota Coaches Show brought to you by Pepsi. Coach, thanks for being in here. We'll get you back here again next week, and Jorgie's got you Saturday after the game, and we'll go over it again, all right?
Sounds good.
All right,
appreciate you guys.
On the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. And that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking. And show your duck devotion with a duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4 or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
There's more Duck football around the corner.
Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. And he's gone. 10-5. Touchdown, Oregon.
60 seconds away on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. It's the Toyota Coaches Show. Joey Mac in here. Brandon Dorlus is in the studio, everybody.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we learned last time that you and I talked that you're just a one-name guy, right? You're just Dorlus.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone called you Brandon in the last year of your life since we talked to you last?
Actually, the coaches kind of started calling me Brandon again.
Really?
Yeah, it's because I had a little incident, and then they got mad at me. So, so they said I have to earn my last name back.
Okay. Well, I'm going to not ask that question again. Brandon Dorlus is here. Okay, so you're a veteran of coming on the show. You've been in the studio here a few times. So I always ask for a 2-minute life story. You've done this, but now I'm going to ask you for a 2-minute life update.
Okay.
All right? You got anything new for the fans? What's been new for you in the last year?
Let's see. I moved apartments. That's pretty new.
That's good.
Since I've been on the show, I did get a new car.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's see. I've been.
You're back at Oregon?
Yeah, back at Oregon. This is great. I mean, I've been grinding. It's been a long time since I've been here, so it's been football since summertime. So I've really been locked in.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about a lot of different things. I want to start though. Let me have a little fun, okay? So obviously the interception that seals the game. You're the one that put the pressure on the quarterback. One of a few quarterback pressures. So we actually have, Brandon, a live look. So this is actually a live real recording, a point of view camera from a quarterback when you were running at them, okay? This is what it looks like when Brandon Dorlus is coming at you as a quarterback. I mean, right? Like, that's what it looks like. So, I don't know, your reaction, like you're getting after the quarterback at a big-time level. How are you doing it?
I mean, it's just hard work, you know. Coaches trusted me, allowed me to do my thing. I mean, that game was pretty frustrating because, you know, I was playing the edge and I was getting after him and couldn't get home. And then so, like, it was like 3 minutes in the fourth quarter left, and me and Coach Tony were on the sideline. We just talking, we game planning stuff because we knew offense was going to, like, get the field goal and we have to go out and do 2-minute drill. So this was like another practice. So Coach Tony schemed me to go inside and play nose on that play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, because playing in front of the center is the fast way to the quarterback. So he was like, yeah, just go play nose on this play and let's switch it up. Because every time I go inside, every opponent be like, oh, something's going on. Is it like it's a stunt? Is it a twist?
Right,
yeah.
right.
So I lined up right on the center, and then I just club ripped him, and I did like a counter move, and he was right there. Yeah.
So how many times have you lined up there in your career?
I mean, not a lot.
I was going to say, like, I don't think I've ever seen that very often.
Yeah, like, probably a couple times. I probably get stuck in there a couple times a year, but, like, I probably count on my fingers. Like, that's probably like my 4th time, 5th time playing in another position. Yeah.
Well, it worked out.
Yeah, it did.
It worked out. I mean, I'm telling you, you looked like a train coming at him. And so over the course of a game, you mentioned how, like, it had been frustrating. You couldn't get after him. Do you feel that as a player during the game, like, hey, we're close, and you just have to break through? Like, what goes through your mind over the course of 4 quarters?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Me and Jordan Burch were talking a lot during that game. We was like,
dog, man, we can't get to this, man. Like, we get in there, but we're not finishing it. And we were just like, I kept telling him, because I'm a little older than him, and, he's younger, so he was like, how do you deal with this? I was like, bro, I'm struggling right now with you.
Yeah.
And he was like, dog, just keep playing. And just him telling me that, just like, keep going, and him, my teammates saying, just keep playing, keep rushing. And then just hearing everybody just encourage me and saying, we need you.
Yeah.
Just give me the juice to just keep rushing.
So how big of a deal was that game? I mean, you guys, we talked so much about how there's similarities to the Washington State game. We remember what that game meant last year. Like, for you, what was that game like?
Nah, it was pretty crazy, man. Just hearing the crowd, just not even the crowd, just hearing, look at the sideline during that play, it was ridiculous. It's a funny play because everybody's saying go down, but people don't understand like how that game was going.
Yeah.
Like it could turn like bad and quick. So like, I was glad he scored and like put a cap on it and to make sure we sealed the deal.
Yeah. And is your favorite song now "Silver Wings"?
Nah, I love that song. that was a perfect song for that. That.
Shout out to Scoot Anderson. Well done. Great song choice. I don't know if you guys pay attention to this as much as we do, like in the creative realm. Okay, so he went with black and yellow for your first game. You guys wore black and yellow uniforms.
We did.
Now Silver Wings. Texas. I mean, I don't know what he's gonna do with a green and yellow combination for Week 3. So just any suggestions? You got any music suggestions for Week 3 here?
See, my music. I don't think we can play my music.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, you never know. It could fit. It could fit. Brandon Dorlus with us. So I wanted to ask you too, like over the course of a game like that, like when it's so back and forth, how do you individually maintain momentum? Like, what do you tell yourself to stay up for each play?
That's crazy. It's like the younger kids are on my butt during that game because, like, I'm going to do, like, in the games like that, I can't just be like, oh, I'm frustrated, all this and that. So, like, I had Skittles on the sideline.
Did you really?
I did. And so, like, I think we were down, like, it was like third quarter. We were down, like, by 2 touchdowns, I think. And I'm just on the sideline just, like, eating some Skittles, and then like I think one of the freshmen came up to me. They're like, "You good, dog?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" They're like, "You just eating Skittles? We're down." I'm like, "I know we're down. We good." This is the trust I have in my team, and this is like it helps me calm down.
And you needed a sugar rush.
And I needed some sugar too. Yeah.
So. I mean, no, I think you just found the secret weapon.
Yeah,
right?
I've been doing that since like I've been here, so it was it was very funny.
I got to tell you, now I have this vision. It's probably going to happen where you guys are going to be celebrating with the shoe at the top of the scepter. And there's going to be Skittles that fly all over the place. I mean,
yeah, it was funny because like I had 2 bags of Skittles actually. And I finished one by myself, and then I started sharing with the whole D line because of Skittles, and we just eating Skittles. And, yeah, it was fun.
All right, the official fuel of the Oregon defensive line. We didn't know this until Brandon Dorlus told us.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like, what are you gonna earn your last name back? Just you don't have to don't go into details. Yeah. Just tell me you're gonna earn it back.
No, I earned it back after last week. So
okay,
yeah,
good. Yeah. So Dorlus, that's right, Brandon Dorlus with us. Okay. The defensive line, you guys are a veteran group for the most part. How cool is that to just be playing with a bunch of guys that are veterans like yourself?
No, it's pretty fun. Playing with experienced guys know what they're doing. It's easy too, but it's funny because if you look at our room, it's veterans and it's just young guys.
It's a big gap.
There's no like middle range, so it's pretty fun. And Coach Tony makes a lot of jokes about it. He's like, we have 24 years of college experience in this room, and it's actually true because like. Pobo's on his 7th year. Casey's I'm on my 5th. You got Tyke on the 6th year. So it's like a lot of dudes who know what they're doing. Yeah. And so like these young cats really do everything they can to like juice all knowledge of all of us, and it was pretty fun. And I'm enjoying it. I get tired of being called grandpa, and pops and stuff. But
they call you that? There's a guy in your room older than you.
No, that's the OG. That's OG right there. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of veterans in the defensive line. So I was kind of curious, Brandon, too. Like Coach Toyota earlier this year was talking about how like it's one thing to be old, but it's another thing, right, to be a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
To have that knowledge. Like, how much more knowledge do you have now compared to like the first day that you stepped on campus? Like, how different are you?
No, it's like night and day.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like playing D-line, you always wonder like what's the biggest jump from high school to college, and I found out real quick. It's you got to be strong.
Really?
You got to have that mental strength too. It's a lot of mental that goes into it, and I feel like what changed for me was like when I was a freshman, I used to go in and just like try to like bull rush everybody and just like be stronger than everybody, all this and that. And then when Coach Tony came in, he broke down like the simple like stuff of like fundamentals, this and that. And he was like, if you just lock into your fundamentals every play, you be a better player and this and that. He slowed the game down for me like crazy for me. And it's like now I'm in the games. Like it's not like I'm always trying to bull rush and get tired quick. Now it's like I'm trying to set people up.
Right.
So like first quarter I might just go in there, like just go fast, like off the edge, and then second quarter I might just be a power dude. And, just I switch it up, change it up, and then whatever works for me, I just keep going to that. And in that game, I did find a couple moves that were working that wasn't working, and that was just off me just changing how I'm taking off the ball and stuff like that.
So when you're engaged, like right in that moment, right on the O-line, how long does it take for you to know, like, oh, I've got this guy beat? Like, do you know right when you guys engage at the line?
I mean, sometimes you do know, and sometimes you just it's off instincts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when I was off the edge a couple times, like third quarter, I set this dude up. After I was going speed rush, now came in, bulled him, and he sat down. I pulled him inside, and then Coach Tony was like, "That's a veteran rush right there," because like you just felt everything that happened. So it's really like a feeling thing, and just always doing it. It's like, I don't know. I can't even explain it. It's just weird sometimes.
Well, it's instincts and experience.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it makes a big deal. All right, we got to get a timeout. Come back. More with Brandon Dorlus. I've gotten to, like, none of my bullet points here. This has been great. Did you bring Skittles tonight?
Nah, I did not. I didn't bring no Skittles.
That's all right. Save it for the game. We're back with more coming up. Toyota Coaches Show. Brandon Dorlus is here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, On Point is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways On Point can help support your financial well-being. On Point Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Go Ducks!
It's made, turn, don't deny me the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Oregon football from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
We're back. It's the Toyota Coaches Show. Brandon Dorlus is here in the Country Financial Studio. We've been talking about a ton of different things, and I'm going to begin segment 2 here talking about your coach and Coach Tuioti. So what's it been like working with Coach Tuioti? Take fans inside that defensive player room for you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a blessing. Coach Tony comes from the different places. Michigan, Nebraska, coaching the league a couple years, so he has a lot of knowledge on the game. He has a lot of wisdom that some coaches could bring and some coaches can't. And, I feel like he really cares about you as a person, not just as a football person. And, like, off the field wise, we just chill. He asks about my son, how my family's doing, and it's been amazing. I always enjoy having Coach Tony as a coach.
Yeah, that's cool. So he's actually going to be our guest coming up on our pregame show at 3 o'clock. He played at Hawaii. He's one of only 2 players in Hawaii history that won a conference championship both as a player and as a coach when he was there. Like,
that's crazy.
He is of legend for the Hawaii program. What should I ask him? Like, give me some insight here. What should I ask him when I talk to him this week?
You should ask him, let's see. does he really like me? Sometimes I feel like, I feel like he does like me, but I know I get under his skin just a little bit, and he doesn't show it, but I know it's under there.
I don't even know how to write this down on my notes. Like, do you actually like Brandon Dorlus? Well, we're going to find out. I'll let you know.
All right, please.
I'll let you know what he says. Brandon Dorlus joining us. So we were talking earlier about some of the fundamentals on the D-line and just how much you've grown as a player. Where does it start for the D-line? You mentioned, like, the strength is really important, but what are those fundamentals that you feel like a young defensive lineman needs to learn to succeed at this level?
Yeah, so it's all different, but, like, because, I play outside, inside, and I play everything. So if you playing the 3-tech, biggest thing at the 3-tech position is you got to be quick off the ball, get your get off, and your hands got to be inside and having that knockback. Like, if you're going against the run, like, some people don't like playing against the run. Like, because that's a tough job. And, you got to play a double team, and it's hard because the linebacker's not shooting the gaps, so double team doesn't come off of you. So, like, biggest thing is like just being, like Coach Tony says, you got to be a dog. You got to be physical. You got to have that will to just like make plays when it's on the stat sheet. And that's how I feel like my career's been going. Like, I don't make a lot of plays that show up on the stat sheets, but I'm doing a lot of the dirty work so a lot of other players make plays. And if other players making plays because of what I'm doing, I'm happy with that. And if we're winning, I'm happy with that.
You're a team guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you're a guy, though, too, that, like, people who are film junkies and watch film, right? Like, they're looking at you, right? I mean, is that kind of your goal, though, for real?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to put the best stuff on tape, on film. I never like putting bad stuff on film. And, I watch, like, because I go back and watch the whole thing, and it's hard for me to watch. If I do something bad, I'll just be like, I can't look at that. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do O-linemen hold every play?
Oh, my goodness.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they always say, no, we don't hold. We're doing our job. But, like, I get on Marcus all the time because we be in practice, and he's like, he gets called for holding in practice, and then we go to the game, he gets called for holding. And I told Marcus, I told you holding. I'm not complaining. I'm trying to help you.
You're
help
team
up.
Guy.
Yeah.
Team guy.
I'll be trying to tell him, like, you just got to chill, man. Like, you blocking him, but just let him go when you have to.
How's that go during a game? Like, if you feel like you're getting held, right, do you kind of make a point to an official, like, hey, do you see this?
If I get held like one time, I'll go straight to the official, to the line. Whoever's, like, the umpire, I'll be like, listen, he held me. I want you to watch it. And I did it against Texas Tech with number 71, Monroe Mills. He held me so hard, and the ref was like, I seen that. Don't worry, I got it. And then my coach ran the same play, and then he threw the flag. And he got called for, like, 3 holding calls against me, so I'll make it a big deal. I'm like throwing my arms in the air. I'm gonna get my holding call.
Yeah, you'll win that Oscar.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I mean, right? It's so interesting though, like the ebb and flow of the game. There's 11 players on the field at a time for each team, right? Like the things that I feel like we all, when we're watching the play, immediately don't see. Like, there's a lot of that goes on.
It's a lot of stuff that happens fast that people don't actually see. But, like, when you watch back on film, you be like, damn, you didn't even see that happen.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's a chess match.
Yeah.
Throughout
it's
the
really
game.
chess. Like, especially a game like that with Tech, we know they was a good team, but we knew we were better. And I'm happy it was like a good punch in the mouth early. And we got battle tested early because now we know what type of team we have. And even Coach Lanning told the defense, he's like, that was a very poised matchup that we controlled, and I was happy with that.
All right, normally I only go 2 segments with a player, but I still have a lot of things to ask you. Can I sneak in a timeout?
Yeah, you good.
All right, Brandon Dorlus is here. One more segment.
Yes, sir.
Dorlus. See, it's back. One more segment. We're back on the Toyota Coaches Show with Brandon Dorlus on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. And that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking, and show your duck devotion with a duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4 or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your home for Duck football.
Up a short pass, it's intercepted. Oh, what a throw, what a catch. Pressure, steps up, goes down.
The Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back on the Toyota Coaches Show in the Country Financial Studios. So Brandon Dorlus with us, one more segment. So Brandon, I forgot to ask you this actually on the air. We talked about it during the break. Somebody asked, do you just eat green and yellow Skittles? No, but
I eat all the Skittles.
Okay, but I have a reasoning now. You eat your enemies, right? That's what it says in the HTC.
you have to.
Yeah,
you
so
have to, yeah.
It makes sense,
Yeah.
you know. All right, so we were talking before about the differences between you when you first started versus now. And I've asked you this question before, but I like to ask it again to veterans sometimes. What advice would you give to 17-year-old Brandon Dorlus if you had the chance to give your past self some advice?
Man, just enjoy the moment. College goes by fast. You know, when I first got here, I was thinking like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna be here 3 years and I'm out.
Yeah.
And like, I got hit in the mouth quick.
Really?
My freshman year, and like having like a veteran group that year on D-line like helped me a lot because they were just like, listen, don't be in no rush. Like it's gonna be like this and you're out. And so like ever since then, like I didn't listen to them at the time because I thought I knew everything.
Yeah.
But like now I'm looking at it, I'm telling these dudes the same thing they were telling me. I'm like,
funny how that happens.
It's funny how that happens. Yeah, it's like I'm like, yeah, you just gotta relax. You know, take your time, enjoy the moment. Like go out, get to know people. You know, I wish I did that a little bit more. I started doing that like later on, but like just go out and know people. Like even like just going golfing to the driving range, like how I do. Like you meet a lot of people in Eugene who are like actually genuine, like have good conversations.
Yeah, and they are rooting for you.
Yeah, exactly, and that too. So it's like it's good to have a lot of people in your corner.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we talked before too about your basketball team and who you would pick for the basketball team. Are you still the best basketball player on the team?
Yeah, I'll always be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an adjustment to your starting five? Who's the starting five from Oregon football this year?
This year, I'm gonna start me at the 1. Yeah. I gotta run the show. You know, we got a lot of new transfers that come in that are pretty good. Yeah. So Jordan Burch, my small forward.
Okay, all right. That's a big small
Terrence
forward.
Ferguson's a good player. I gotta have him. He's my shooting guard. I have Ope as my power forward.
All right.
Yeah, and for a center, I put Ope at center and Poncho, his brother, at power forward.
All right.
I need some big bodies, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is a big basketball lineup.
I'm telling you, we're gonna be good, man.
Yeah,
We're gonna be good.
I feel like some of the skill position guys are gonna be texting you tonight, like, what happened to those positions?
They know I don't mess with the skills. I love the O-line, D-line, and the tight ends get some love sometimes.
Hey, where is a football game won though? In the trenches,
right? Trenches every time.
Yeah, in the trenches, right? Hey, you touched on how you thought, hey, I might be here for 3 years. Now you're here a couple more years. What's that been like for your career? I mean, I know a lot of people have probably asked you, like, hey, why'd you come back? You could have gone pro. Just tell us a little bit about that. I mean, that had to be a big decision for you.
No, I came back because, you know, just losing how I lost that to Washington and Oregon State, I just didn't like that taste in my mouth leaving. And, you know, I wasn't done yet. I know I still had it. I had one more year in me, and I want to go out undefeated and play one more year with my brother. And I got to win the championship when I leave. So it was mostly for my teammates and mostly to get better as a player and grow more stronger in my mind. Get more wiser in football and have the game slow down more until I hit that next level.
Well, on behalf of all Oregon fans, thank you for doing that. In all seriousness, so what's next? You're going to go play pro. We're and play for a very long time.
Yeah.
What are you going to do after that? What's next after football?
No, I don't know. I always tell I joked around growing up that I want to be on the SWAT team. I want to be the chief of the SWAT team, be the head. But I think I want to stick with football. Just be a coach, D-line coach, DC. I don't want to be a head coach. That's too much responsibility. Yeah. But I just want to coach the D-line or defense.
I like that.
That'd be my goal.
You'd be a good coach.
Thank you.
But I bet you were also pretty good at paintball earlier this year.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm the best, but
why not?
I feel like I'm the best.
There you go. Look, all we heard about that was from Coach Lanning saying that he was a favorite target.
See, Coach Lanning, he does this every year. He sets himself up for failure. he goes the day before paintball. He was like, we're going to paintball as a team, this and that. He's like, I'm gonna go in there shirtless, and he goes there shirtless. And it's like, why would you do that? He just runs around the middle and just it's easy target. Everybody just shoot.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he understands.
Yeah,
he understands. All right, a couple hard-hitting questions for you. Okay, favorite uniform you've ever worn?
Ooh, probably the eggshell.
Yeah, you're an eggshell.
I'm an eggshell guy, and I'm not trying to be biased because I did these photo shoots, but I feel like every photo shoot I did were the best uniforms we had. I had the breast cancer one was a good one.
That was a great uniform.
And then eggshell was my favorite one. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Don't. I know someone's going to ask which uniform photo shoot are you in this year. I'm not going to ask you. We know how that goes.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, maybe you could shed some light on this. Coach Lanning got asked this week a lot about the uniforms, actually. I don't know if you saw this. And he was like, look, guys, I really don't know. That's up to the equipment guys and the players. Fans want to know. How does that go for players like you that are veterans that get a chance to be a part of this kind of stuff?
Choose a uniform for the game? I mean, it's fun, just to build a lot of combinations. Some fans probably get mad at us for picking some this week. I'm a fan of uniforms, but this is green and yellow.
I love the green and yellow.
But some fans be like, "Well, we want something new. We want something new." You have to be patient.
Yeah,
it's gonna come. You're gonna see. I promise you. You won't be mad.
Yeah, I can confirm. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Nah, we got some serious uniforms dropping this year. Yeah.
Keys to success this week. What's going to take to take down a good offense?
So Hawaii, they throw the ball a lot. They were number one for pass attempts.
Yeah.
This week, I feel like it's a lot like last week. Don't make it about another team. Make it about us. What can we do better? And I feel like D-line has to take it a different step. I know we have to finish these plays on the quarterback. We watched film after the game with Coach Tony, and there was a lot of plays we missed. And we can't keep missing plays like that. So this week is about finishing these plays. We know we could get back there. We know we can make plays. Biggest thing is finishing on this quarterback. I got to get a sack this week, so that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to get a couple sacks this week.
All right, here's to a couple sacks and finishing a great career.
Thank you so
Brandon
much.
Dorlus, ladies and gentlemen. You can come back anytime.
All right, man.
Right? Anytime. The studio is yours.
Thank you.
We're going to get a timeout. Come back. Keys to the game. Jerry and Jorgie are back with us, wrapping up the Toyota Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the studio. It's our Toyota Coaches Show, Jerry, Jorgie, and Joey. Great interview. But
yeah,
that was
great.
a really good interview.
He's great. Look, the interviewer is only as good as the interviewee. You guys know that.
Well, I mean,
he's phenomenal.
They're so relaxed in having that conversation with you. You just all the guys that come in here, and we're lucky to be able to be around guys like him and Bossa and Bo Nix so far this year, and more to come type of deal. But it's really neat to see that interaction take place and how relaxed they are.
And he's a veteran of coming in here. In fact, I asked him during the break. I was like, "Hey, you've done this once or twice," and he said, "I was a little nervous the first time I did it." But no, that's what makes this fun. I mean, you get to know the guys so well, and I think he'd be a great coach. I didn't know that. I thought he would stick with law enforcement, but the fact that he's thinking about coaching, I think he'd be a great position coach.
Gets in your blood.
Oh yeah,
gets in your blood.
Yeah,
no
Skittles though.
That was awesome.
I didn't. So I got to ask Dusty because I obviously wasn't on the sideline this past week. I was up in the booth with you guys. I didn't see it from up there. I got to ask Dusty if he noticed any Skittles.
No. So we come out of the game with Texas Tech, and what I came away with, and we talked to Coach about a little bit, and that is actually you didn't play very well. You kind of shot yourself in the foot several times, but you got the win. I felt good about getting a win the way they played.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, we all want to see blowouts all the time, and 12 of them if you can get them. but sometimes, just like we asked Dan Lanning tonight, is you learn so much about your team and fighting through adversity and all the mistakes that you overcame and key drives that you made and takeaways that you had and key runs. It's just you find so much about your team. Those are the type of wins, I think, that carry you a long ways into the season.
Yeah.
You face adversity, and it's hard to script and test yourself for adversity, and you just sometimes have to go through it. I've heard coaches talk about that all the time. It's a lot easier to come away with a win and talk about these things than it is with a loss. How different would tonight's show have been had the Ducks lost that game?
Ooh,
right?
Yeah,
very different.
So,
really. And that was a 23-game home winning streak that Texas Tech had that Oregon snapped. That's a big deal. I thought that it was a big step forward, and now I think for me, the penalties have come up with Coach Lanning every time he's talked with us, with anybody else. I think the penalties are a big deal. And I think clean execution a really big deal in this game against Hawaii. Coach Lanning was honest when he talked with us last week that he felt like Texas Tech was going to test Oregon in ways that Portland State didn't. I think Hawaii is going to continue to test Oregon, particularly defensively with what the Rainbow Warriors do offensively. But for me, it's going to come down to the penalties, discipline for Oregon, and that execution. I know that sounds overly simple, but if you look at the drives where Oregon had penalties, they didn't go the Ducks' way. Sometimes it really is just that simple. I think that the penalties are maybe the number one thing I'm going to look for this week.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about keys to the game, and what you said is almost exactly what I was going to say, and that is you got to clean the game up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you do. I mean, you look at those penalties that happened in the Texas Tech game. It seemed like any time a penalty happened against Oregon, it led to a Texas Tech score of some sort. And so eliminate those if you can. But for me, it's getting to Shager again, just like Oregon did with Tyler Shuck. They put pressure on him all game long and forced him into mistakes, fumbles, interceptions, bad throws. Ultimately, what Brandon Dorlus did to end the game and Jeffrey Boss's interception, all was because of pressure on the quarterback. Shager has been pressured a lot this year. Put pressure on him, you can get some more possessions.
Yeah, they've played more games than most teams, obviously. That they're already 3 games in, and Oregon, most everybody else is 2 games in, but they've given up a ton of sacks. You know, I think that getting after the quarterback continues to be a real key for Oregon's entire season, you know, and we'll see. But I also think this is going to be a fun game for so many cultural reasons. You know, Coach Lanning's alluded to it. We've talked a little bit about it on Duck Insider, but man, there are so many cultural connections with this that I think it just makes for a really, really awesome environment at Autzen.
And coming to the table to help, too.
Got to run the ball, too. Didn't run the ball that well.
Yeah, I know they didn't.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that later.
We will.
Right now, I'm going to go get some Skittles and get ready for a Saturday pregame show at 3 o'clock. We're here Friday to do our picks. Lots of game this week. And I can't hear the music, so I'm just going to say, let's get out of here and go goodbye, okay? I know it's
3 o'clock pregame.
Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you all many more times this week.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi.